Welcome to Edmonton, Canada for the final stop of the Red Bull Crashed Ice, where 70,000 spectators are ready to see three Canadians battling for the top of the podium.
Troy, this event will certainly be massive because of the tight race for the championship. And let's not forget, there's 29 other top-notch ice cross downhill racers who all want to get a win at the final Red Bull Crashed Ice event of the season right here in Canada.
Keep a close eye on that man right there with the red armband. That is the current overall standings leader, Scott Croxall from Canada, wearing the red armband. He's going up against Andrei Lavrov from Russia, Andreas Wienzel from Germany, and Adam Scooby from Canada.
Riders ready! 5-second warning!
Good start by all four of these guys. Scott Croxall with a slight advantage heading towards that 90-degree. He's got it clean and solid. Andrei Lavrov sitting in second place behind Scott Croxall. Andreas Wienzel's got third place locked down for the moment. Adam Scooby bringing up the rear. He's got a lot of work to do to catch up, Doug.
Absolutely. Adam Scooby just got beat to every corner coming out of the top of the course.
Here's a critical spot for Scotty, and he does it really well, but Andrei Lavrov right on his tail. Scott Croxall through the steps, taking a couple of final strides in those steps and moving on here. Andrei Lavrov right with them. They both know. They don't need to stress about it right now. Scott Croxall and Andrei Lavrov, they're going to move on to the next round, the round of 32. Andreas Wienzel and Adam Scooby, unfortunately, eliminated. Great race by Scott Croxall, once again showing his dominance on the season.
What a season Scotty Croxall's had. So many finals that he'd been to, and so many times he came away disappointed. This season's been a complete turnaround for him. He's been absolutely spectacular, and this was a dominating run to the bottom as well.
All right, so Scott Croxall, Andrei Lavrov, they're going to be moving on to the next round, and they'll be seeing each other in the next round as well. Back to the top of our course. Paavo Klintrup with gate choice in the red armband. He's going up against Kyle Croxall in the blue armband. Reto Mader from Switzerland in the yellow armband, and Shane Renaud from Canada in the silver armband.
5-second warning!
Paavo Klintrup with a pretty good start. Toe picked a little bit there, but stayed on his feet. And Kyle Croxall moves handily into first place here with Paavo Klintrup right on his tail. Renaud sitting in third place. Reto Mader in fourth. It's a tight one. Kyle Croxall, like you always like to say, Doug, he's a big body and he knows how to block, and his airs have gotten really good. Oh, Renaud gets banged as he gets into that 180. He's now sitting back in fourth. It's Paavo Klintrup holding down that second position now. Here comes Reto Mader and Renaud from the backside, but it's not going to happen for him today. Klintrup just needs to stay on his feet to get across that finish line. A quick block, and it's Croxall and Klintrup moving on to the next round.
This is where it starts to get tight. Croxall comes down, cuts the corner hard. Klintrup tries to stay with him, has to make the jump off the big far corner. Croxall's able to stay in the middle. Things tighten up in the middle of this pack right now, though. And Paavo Klintrup, after some big air, finds himself in a tight race with Kyle Croxall.
Croxall, though, looks very calm and collected, and there we see Renaud trying to get the inside line, just miscalculated a little bit and got taken out more than anything. Well, there you see Kyle Croxall and Paavo Klintrup. Those two guys are moving on to the next round.
Dean Moriarty from Canada, a newcomer who worked his way up to the top of the standings. Dean appeared on 5 out of 8 podiums this season and gathered enough points to still be able to reach out and grab the World Championship title.
I mean, it feels great. Last year I had some unlucky spills, and I did have some good results, but this year I trained so hard for this, and just doing different stuff while training and getting better and feeling more comfortable on the tracks. It really helped me this year to do what I did, and it feels good being with the top guys and having a chance to take the world title. It means so much. It just like ensured me that all my training and stuff wasn't for nothing. And it's gonna be a little uphill battle, but if I get it done, it'll just be insane.
Dean Moriarty currently sitting third overall in the standings, along with Louis-Philippe Dumoulin, Derek Wedge, a former world champion, and Maxime Vachon.
Riders ready! 5-second warning!
And as predicted, it is Dean Moriarty with a great start, and Derek Wedge right there. Derek went really wild into that corner, but stayed on his feet. And that's that skiing background from Derek Wedge that we always talk about, that air awareness and that ability to absorb those bumps and keep those skates on the ice. Fantastic. And it's, look at this, Louis-Philippe Dumoulin, LPD, right there with them. There was our speed trap, 50 kilometers an hour. Dean Moriarty, Derek Wedge, 1 and 2, opening up a little bit of space on LPD, Louis-Philippe Dumoulin. So Dean Moriarty keeps his hopes of a world championship title alive here. That is a great race, and Derek Wedge, he is just stoked to be out there and having fun with the boys.
Blasting out of the gates is Dean Moriarty, and look at the head down. Just make sure he's got the big, heavy strides going. Get some room between you and number 2, number 3, and number 4. But when you've got a former world champion in his own right, a guy like Derek Wedge haunting you from behind, Wedge is the guy that's going to be having the run of his life. He's got to stay in second spot.
Dean Moriarty and Derek Wedge advancing to the next round, having a little bit of fun there in the finish line. That's
and
great.
Why not?
Yeah, the fans are great. I mean, once I get to that gate, I try to block out the fans, but yeah, they're good when I get to the finish line and take a win. It's fun to have them there.
Dylan Moriarty from Canada as well, Dean's twin brother, who is just as competitive. Having the same set of genes and possessing the same light-footed skating style, Dylan hasn't left any doubts about his talent in this year's World Championship.
Every Canadian race is always special because just you have the hometown crowd cheering you on, like cheering on Canada. Usually you hear some boos in Europe, but in Canada it's always the cheers, and they're always happy when the Canadians come on top. So hopefully we can do that here in Edmonton. I think everyone in the top 10 always thinks about getting to the first position. Everyone's really competitive and always wants to do their best. Scott's really consistent, and it's going to be tough to get there, but you always look forward to it. And then even keeping into the top 3, top 2, because I have Cameron and Marco right behind me, and they're not slouches. They're really hard competitors, so just beating out all them too would just be like something great.
Dylan Moriarty, another one of the fast brother combinations out there, along with Michael Johansson from Sweden, Toni Heikkila from Finland, and Marty Niefnecker from Germany.
Dylan Moriarty can certainly put his stamp on this race.
5-second warning!
Great start by Michael Johansson right there with Dylan Moriarty. They're shoulder to shoulder at that 90-degree. Moriarty with better positioning on the inside. And look at that. Niefnecker's right on him. Marty Niefnecker sitting in third place behind Johansson and Moriarty. Dylan opening it up as he comes down and just lets it all flow. Johansson trying to hold off Marty Niefnecker. Great clean airs by all three of those guys as they head towards the 180. And Moriarty, wow, he's just got quick feet, fast legs, got lots of power and plenty of gas in there. And he's taking a quick look back to make sure that he's not going to lose position. Michael Johansson, he's got to hold on here. Last turn. Here comes Marty Niefnecker with the last sprint, but it's not going to happen. It's going to be Moriarty and Johansson.
Dylan Moriarty was lightning quick in this heat. Dylan does a great job of staying out of the way of the two big bodies behind him because he's not a very tall and not a very thick guy. He's got to get out and use those legs, pump them quickly, get out in front, and let the other guys battle for position like they did coming into that corner right there. Mickey Johansson and Dylan Moriarty move on to the round of 32, and rightfully so. Both those guys put on a nice show here in Edmonton.
Really fast ice, really good ice now. It's getting darker, so the ices are gonna keep getting better, and just got a really good start, kept my line, and finished first in that heat. On to the next one.
All right, here we go. Our first heat in the round of 32. Scott Croxall in this one, aiming for his first ever World Championship title. Reed Whiting in this one from the USA wearing the blue armband. Andrei Lavrov and Jim DePauli from Switzerland in the silver armband.
As per usual, Scott Croxall's chosen gate number 2.
And he's vibrating with anticipation as he gets out to a tenuous lead here into that first corner. He's good. He's solid. Andrei Lavrov right there with him. Reed Whiting bringing up the rear, but you can never count Reed Whiting out. He is a solid, solid skater. Jim DePauli battling right now with Reed Whiting. Lavrov in second place behind Scott Croxall as Scotty styles it out. Safety grabbing. Here's the 180-degree turn. That ice is really getting chewed up. Oh, Scott Croxall almost stumbles with Lavrov right on his tail. The last two corners into the finish line. Scotty needs to stay on his feet, cruises here, and it's going to be Lavrov and Croxall moving on to the next round. You know what? Lavrov has been testing Croxall in every heat they've been in. Boy.
This is the hard corner that a lot of guys are taking with a little too much speed. Scotty Croxall comes across. He's got Lavrov on his tail, but watch how much ground Lavrov's able to make up as Croxall dumps a little too much speed going into the 180 turn. There's that little misstep you talk about, Troy, coming down those stairs. And on to the next round.
Marco Delago up against Michael Urban, Danny Bergeson, and Carl Bellafleur.
5-second warning.
Bury the head, out the gate they come. Marco Delago with a solid skate. Danny Bergeson right there with him. Eases into second place, and now Danny Bergeson with a great move. Lucky out there in first place, and those two guys are taking it away, opening up a bit of distance between them and Bellafleur and Michael Urban. A great airline pass by Marco Delago as they come towards the 180-degree turn. That corner is getting rougher and rougher, by the way. Lots of grooves in there. You got to be careful. Down through the steps, Bergeson's got second, and Marco Delago still holding down the top spot. Delago, Bergeson, Carl Bellafleur, and no sign of Michael Urban yet, but he will be the last man across the line. So it's going to be Marco Delago and Danny Bergeson.
Danny Bergeson and Marco Delago were getting into a good battle at the top of the course. Bergeson overtook Marco, and watch Marco come right here. He jumps right over the top, and he's able to get back into the lead.
Interesting use of that roller section. He doesn't bother to triple them. He just tries to, get through leg to leg.
Ferguson with those big long strides at the end. Just make sure he maintains his lead over Carl Bellafleur.
So Marco Delago and Danny Bergeson move into the quarterfinals.
Oh, it's good. As long as I win the starts, it's perfect. And if not, I have to overtake. This is really difficult on this track.
Back to the top, and we've got Dylan Moriarty lining up with Fabian Mels, Michael Johansson, and Jerry Leto.
Riders ready. 5-second warning.
Good start by Johansson there on the inside line. Couple of yellow jerseys out there. Oh my goodness.
Fabian
Leto
Naasz has
goes
got to get
down.
away from Mickey Johansson.
Yeah, Mickey Johansson there is in second place behind Dylan Moriarty. Fabian Naasz, though, he's got a great kick at the end of these runs. He's got plenty of juice in the tank. Look at the air time. Wow, that is fantastic. Moriarty's, going hard into the boards with losing both of them. Lost a bit of an edge here in that 180-degree turn.
What a
and
battle.
now, this is a great battle. Fabian Naasz and Johansson both looking for any extra bit of room on course, and a great move on the inside by Fabian Naasz. Is going to be a big long stride to the finish line, and it's Fabian Naasz moving on to the quarterfinals. Nicely done by Fabian Naasz.
Well, Moriarty does the smart thing and stays out of the way of the two big bodies battling for second and third spot. They came close to each other at least 5 or 6 times behind Moriarty. Some big air from Moriarty. These guys get tied up again. Look at them battle for position. Moriarty goes into the corner. Naasz tries to jump a lot more speed and almost took down Mickey Johansson with him.
Nice job by all those guys. Dylan Moriarty, Fabian Naasz moving on to the quarterfinals. All right, back to the top, here we go. Kyle Croxall, that man right there, yellow armband. Dan Whitty, red armband. Pavel Klintrop, blue armband. Simon Gagnon with the silver armband.
Kyle was so intense he almost popped the gate.
Yeah, and that would have been a DQ, by the way, but he gets out to the lead at that first 90-degree corner. Dan Whitty right there with him, though. Dan Whitty's a pretty big boy. He can keep up with Kyle Croxall pretty well, but Kyle is just so powerful and so strong out on course. And we always say this about Kyle's gliding ability. He seems to be able to maintain great speed. But look at this, Pavel Klintrop catching up with Kyle Croxall, and now he's right on Kyle's tail. Dan Whitty trying to catch up and make up for some lost space there, and they were hitting 50 kilometers an hour, by the way, folks. Pavel Klintrop looking for a win on this one. It's not going to happen, but he might get second place, and we're going to go to a photo finish.
Look at the concentration in his eyes, setting up his next set of lines.
That's intensity, folks, right there, personified.
The one you want to watch is the flying Finn, Pavel Klintrop behind. Watch Klintrop use the big air to take this next corner and jump up into second spot. That's a veteran move. He almost ran over the back of Kyle Croxall, though.
Yeah, he had a real good line, maintained some good speed through that 180-degree turn, and there you go. Pavel Klintrop's got that one locked down. So Kyle Croxall, Pavel Klintrop both moving on to the next round. This is the last heat in the round of 32. Tristan Duchardil, Dean Moriarty, Derek Wedge, and Jake Plante. Oh, the anticipation is killing me. Dean Moriarty, Tristan Duchardil, good start for both of them. Moriarty and Duchardil in the lead at the moment.
They got to stay out of each other's way.
Yeah, that's basically what they have to do now. Tristan Duchardil takes over the lead. Dean Moriarty's in second place.
And
wow, look at
Derek
the speed
Wedge
on this one. And Derek Wedge is in the third spot, but you know what? He's not going to let him get too far away. 52 kilometers an hour. We may well see that get faster as the evening wears on. Dujardil still out in front. Dean Moriarty right on his tail, though. Will Moriarty try an inside line here? Derek Wedge ends up going backwards here, and little moonwalk across the finish line as Tristan Duchardil and Dean Moriarty will move on to the next round. We'll see them in quarterfinal action. A little bit of tangling at that first corner, but otherwise it's basically a non-contest for the two of them. They led this from top to bottom.
And this is what we say, stay out of each other's way. When you're sitting 1-2 and you're well in front of the 3-4 skaters, stay out of each other's way. Don't make contact. You don't want to take your buddy down, and you don't want your buddy to take you down. Dujardil, he can match pretty much anybody on this tour with speed, with all-out speed. He can jump with the best of them as well.
Competition last night. Prestige Worldwide came in leading the championship for the team competition.
We get ready to move on to quarterfinal action. Heat number 1. Look at the guys in this one. Cameron Naasz, Marco Delago, Daniel Bergeson, and Matt Johnson. Whoa.
All 4 of them can blow it through the top to the bottom of the course. They can all jump, they can all glide, and it's really going to come down to who makes the fewest mistakes.
Oh, Matt Johnson stumbles a little bit, and he is relegated back to 4th place. Here's Marco Delago, comes around that corner in 2nd place, but he goes down. Johnson goes down. Bergeson moves into 2nd place behind Cameron Naasz. A little bit of carnage out on course. That's what we always say. Anything can happen in ice cross downhill, and it's a long course, 415 meters. Cameron Naasz, nice and safe around that 180. Danny Bergeson, same. Coming down through this section here, they got to really stay on top of it. Cameron and Daniel. But look at Matt Johnson pushing hard to try and catch up with Daniel Bergeson. Bergie may be in trouble if Johnson takes a hard inside line. No, he doesn't have it. It's going to be Cameron Naasz and Daniel Bergeson moving on to the semifinal, heat number 1.
In the semifinals, usually because we're not just yet going for the
Talk about a lot of coincidental contact at the top of the course. Marco Delago got squeezed out by Danny Bergeson. Then Bergeson turns around and shrugs off Matt Johnson and heads to the bottom. Cameron Naasz, what did he do? He just jumped out to the first lead and never looked back. That's what Naasz's trademark is.
He avoided the carnage at the top there. I mean, everybody was kind of having a bit of a garage sale at that first corner, and Cameron was lucky to get through there unscathed.
There's Marco Delago on that 180. Delago tries to take the inside line around Matt Johnson, and he just clipped Johnson and also clipped the boards.
So we see all 4 of the guys there, but it's going to be Cameron Naasz and Daniel Bergeson moving on to the semi-final.
It's really good out here. They have a huge crowd, and the ice turned out to be really good, and yeah, we're just giving it one heat at a time.
This is going to be a good one as well with Fabian Melz on the left side, Paco Schmidt, Dylan Moriarty, and Tommy Mertz could be the spoiler in this one. He's on the right-hand side. He's in a tough gate, though.
Yeah, but Tommy's been great out of the gate lately, but look at this. Hey, Dylan Moriarty with a great start. Paco Schmidt right there with him. Dylan Moriarty, Paco Schmidt, 1 and 2. Fabian Melz is in a bit of trouble back there. Tommy Mertz almost going down, but Tommy Mertz has an opportunity right here. He passes. He is now sitting right behind Dylan Moriarty. Speed there at that section, 52 kilometers per hour. They are running at a clip. Dylan Moriarty, Tommy Mertz, Paco Schmidt. Oh, look at this battle right there. And Paco Schmidt just gets clipped, and it's going to be Fabian Melz across the line in 3rd place, and Paco Schmidt finally comes across. So Melz and Schmidt both eliminated. A great battle by Tommy Mertz.
What a great job going into this corner from Moriarty. He knows he's got a lead, and he knows he's the fastest guy in this foursome. All he's got to do is get out in front, maintain his lines, make sure that nobody else can claim any one of his lines or even push him towards the inside or outside. Dumping the speed going into the 180, and again, you see somebody clipping it. That's Tommy Mertz clipping it. Well, there's that left-hand corner, and there you see Paco Schmidt blowing a tire right before the finish line.
Dylan Moriarty and Tommy Mertz moving on to the semi-finals. Good heat by those guys. All right, next heat coming up. Scott Croxall, Adam Horst, Lucas Koch, Andrei Lavrov. This is a critical heat for Scott.
It is.
He needs to get through here. Otherwise, we may have some trouble on our hands. All right. It's a good start. Adam Horst right there with Scott Croxall. Scott Croxall manages to get around that corner clean. Adam Horst puts a hand down, but he stayed right on his feet and got right back up. Horst is playing blocker now. Adam wants to get into a semifinal this year, and he's looking good for it. Andrei Lavrov.
He's also helping out a good friend and a teammate.
Well, there you go, too, huh? But Andrei Lavrov and Lucas Koch, they're not even in any kind of position to challenge at this point. So it's Scott Croxall and Adam Horst out in front. And it looks like Adam Horst could almost make a pass here. Does he bother? It looks like he's going to try for the sprint to the finish, but it's going to be Scott Croxall and Adam Horse moving to the semifinals. Ha ha ha! Now it's getting interesting, folks. Scotty Croxall is going on to the semis. Let's take a look back at this heat, though.
Look at the intense passion from Scotty Croxall coming out of that front gate. He goes into that corner. Adam Horse goes down, but Horst is back up, and he's still only a half a second behind Scott Croxall. This is a hard left he's got to make right here, and he's got to keep everybody behind him. A little style
Still
points.
styling it out. You know he's feeling good. You know he's feeling good. This man right here, Dean Moriarty, is giving applause to Scott Croxall because Dean Moriarty is out of the title race now that Scott Croxall is in the semifinals. So the only guy that can do any damage to Scott is that man right there, his big brother, Kyle Croxall. And look at the lane he's got. Kyle Croxall's got that egregious far right-hand lane there. Let's see if he can work with it.
Riders ready! 5-second warning!
Well, looks like he's doing a pretty good job, but Moriarty is just a little bit too quick, and it's Dujardil. Moriarty getting tangled up. Oh, wow. Moriarty came around hard on the outside. Kyle Croxall is trailing in this one. Dean Moriarty, Tristan Dujardil, Paavo Klintrop, and Kyle Croxall. This is a very, very tight heat right now. And Kyle Croxall, he can glide super well. He knows how to use these big edges of his, and he's moving up. Second, third. It's twisting a little bit. Yeah, he's in third place. Paavo Klintrop holding him off really well. Kyle Croxall, he's a big man, and he knows how to make great passes on the inside. Oh! And it looks like it's going to be a no-go for Kyle Croxall.
Kyle Croxall comes out of the gate strong, but in that first corner, all four men come together. Moriarty, watch him now. He's got to be the guy that gets out there.
Dujardil has a bit of trouble, and he gets passed by Paavo Klintrop, and then Kyle Croxall doing his best to make a pass on Paavo at the 180. Here, another angle for you. That's definitely Dean Moriarty taking the win on that one, and Paavo Klintrop. So we're going to see them in the semifinal. Kyle Croxall is eliminated, and by that, it means that Scott Croxall is the world champion.
Feels amazing. I mean, we still got a few races to go here, so I just want to keep doing well and advancing to the final, and hopefully I can get another first.
Lining it up in this first semifinal heat, Dylan Moriarty, he's got the red armband on. He's in tough with a bunch of Americans. Cameron Naasz in the blue armband, Tommy Mertz, who has been fantastic in the yellow armband, and Daniel Bergeson in the silver armband.
Riders ready! 5-second warning!
Daniel Bergeson's been fantastic on course, but this time it's Dylan Moriarty and Cameron Naasz out in front. Cameron taking a quick lead. Dylan Moriarty right on his tail. Daniel Bergeson chasing him down. Tommy Mertz bringing up the rear in fourth. Don't count Tommy Mertz out, though. We've seen some great stuff from him today. Cameron looking good into the 180, 53 kilometers an hour. The speed's picking up. Danny Bergeson just getting lucky coming through when Dylan Moriarty spun out. Now Danny Bergeson's got second place locked down. Tommy Mertz trying to come from behind in fourth.
Dylan's got one more hole shot.
Oh my
goodness. Takes him down.
Oh, look what's happening here. It's going to be Tommy Mertz moving to the final. Tommy Mertz going to his first final ever. Oh my goodness. That is unbelievable. Holy smokes, folks.
So close, yet so far away for Daniel Bergeson. He had a really solid run going, sitting in third spot. Tommy Mertz pulling up in fourth spot. Mertz just wants to stay close to these guys and hope for a minor miracle. At the 180 turn, Moriarty gets turned around, and it's Daniel Bergeson jumping up in the second spot. The final hole shot, Moriarty tries to make the run, takes out Bergeson, and Tommy Mertz slides in for second spot. And the good friend of Cameron Naasz is now moving on.
For this other heat.
Cameron Naasz has seen his share of final, but it'll be the first final for Tommy Mertz, which is fantastic. All right, here we go. Scott Croxall in this one. He's got the red bib again. Dean Moriarty in the yellow bib. Adam Horst in blue. And Pavel Kluntrup in the silver. This is semifinal heat number 2. Top 2 riders going to go on to the final.
5-second warning.
Dean Moriarty gets a good start. Adam Horst almost takes out Scott Croxall, but Scott Croxall moves into second place behind Dean Moriarty. Adam Horst back there in third, pushing hard to try and catch up. Drops down, toe picks, almost goes down. Pavel Kluntrup bringing up the rear. Dean Moriarty's got this one, but Scott Croxall's got a good head of steam coming into this 180. 53 kilometers an hour, the speeds are increasing. Dean Moriarty out in front, Scott Croxall holding second place. It's a good spread between each of these guys here. Dean's going to win this one, and that means Scotty Croxall and Dean Moriarty are going to round out the final with Cameron Naasz and Tommy Mertz.
Great gate start from Moriarty. One of the best things he did was jump out in front of Scott Croxall. He knows he can't battle physically with Croxall or Adam Horst, so he's just got to make sure that he stays in front of them and takes the right lane choice.
Right there at that turn, it's all about timing, when to put the brakes on and when not to. And Scott Croxall, you can see the intensity in his eyes. He knows exactly when to do it. So Dean Moriarty and Scott Croxall will be moving on to the final.
The final in Edmonton. Scott Croxall. Tommy Mertz. Cameron Naasz. And Dean Moriarty.
Fantastic final lined up. Scott Croxall, Cameron Naasz, Dean Moriarty, Tommy Mertz, as we count down to get this heat ready to rock and roll. This will be the last race of 2000. Up the boys in the finish area.
Tommy Mertz came in third in Edmonton. World champion Scott Croxall ended up in second. And Cameron Naasz finally got his first victory of the season in a Red Bull crashed ice race.
Yeah, unreal race. I was really fired up to get some good starts out here. I haven't had great starts all year, and man, I put 5 good runs together, and what do you know?
Scott Croxall from Canada is the new world champion of ice cross downhill.
Feels amazing. This was a long season, 8 races, and I couldn't be happier. I mean, that was a huge race against 2 of the best racers. I feel amazing. Second place tonight, world champion overall. That's what it's all about.
The overall world championship standings, Scott Croxall with Cameron Naasz, then Dean Moriarty moving up into third spot in